In the heart of rural England lies the historic Cotswold town of Stow-on-the-Wold. In 1476, Edward IV granted it a royal charter for an event which still takes place every spring, Stow Horse Fair.
Temperament and to catch traffic frills. There you are, good sort there. How much money should I put this in? 350?
Horses may no longer play the role in everyday life they once did, but the Briton's love of the horse is as strong as ever. Today, the fair is just as busy as it was in the past. One of the annual visitors with a special interest in the horses is Patrick Oxenham. A self-taught artist living in Stow, he has his studio just down the road in Sheep Street. Patrick first made a name for himself as a book illustrator. Now he specialises in painting animals. His reputation led to Patrick being given a very special commission to design a set of postage stamps. And these wildlife stamps, his first venture into this unique art field, was one of the most popular sets ever issued by the British Post Office. Not surprisingly, Patrick was again commissioned to design a new set of stamps, this time featuring horses.
I'm after a drawing of the Shire horse, you know, just a pose which will show the horse at its best at a sort of profile shot, but at the same time showing the head. Starlight's one that I know. I've seen her before, and she's very placid, very quiet, and stands around a lot, which is very useful for me, really. After making a lot of sketches of different positions, different poses, I collect all the sketches and drawings together, and then I make up a drawing that'll be suitable for the stamp, you know, this position, shape, size, and then tracings made of that to transfer onto the board, which becomes the pencil rough.
The Post Office chose the theme of horses to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Shire Horse Society. Established in 1878, the Society's aim was to preserve the old English breed of cart horse. At that time, the quality of heavy horses was deteriorating, and many were being neglected, even ill-treated. The Society's centenary show, held in Peterborough, was attended by Her Majesty the Queen, a great lover of horses. There was cause for celebration. Only a few years ago, the Shires, as a breed, were almost extinct. Now they've been rescued once again. Over 200 were entered for this show, evidence of the revived demand throughout the world for these massively powerful yet gentle British horses.
Well, the idea was to show the Shire, you know, so that it looks like a Shire rather than a Clydesdale or a Punch or any other horse. That was the first consideration. But the Post Office decided it might be better if it was dressed with trace harness. When the finished ruff was done, the blinkers and bridle obscured the face of the horse, so he moved it around so that the horse was facing, and the head could be seen more clearly.
In contrast to the Shire, the hardy little Shetland is the smallest pony indigenous to Britain. One of the oldest and purest breeds, they've existed in their native Shetland Islands off the coast of Scotland for the last 2,000 years. It's thought that early island settlers chose to take these little ponies with them because only small livestock could be shipped across the turbulent seas in their primitive boats. Today, stallions like this one are still being transported in the age-old way to join mares on those remote islands. His offspring will make ideal children's ponies. The Shetland pony was another of the 4 traditional British breeds chosen for the stamps.
The inking in fixes the drawing, and all the modelling and the shapes which I've already worked out, but the ink actually fixes it so that it's there when the colour work goes on. You don't have to go back and redraw it or you know, generally rework it. After the inking in, it's the colour. You have to imagine the set of stamps. You see 4 horses, they all need to be different colours. You can't have them all brown horses, and I think Shetland's the only breed where you're allowed broken colours. So it seemed a good opportunity to put a piebald or a skewbald in, you know, purely from a decorative point of view.
The Thoroughbred, the finest racehorse in the world. It belongs to Great Britain and Ireland. Renowned for its great speed, beauty and elegance, it's now bred and raced in 50 different countries. The history of the breed goes back 300 years. All modern thoroughbreds are descendants of 3 Arab stallions, which were introduced into Britain in the 17th century to stabilise the native racehorse stock. At Newmarket, the centre of the racehorse industry, a new national stud was created in 1965 to retain the very best of British stallions for home breeding. Now it's the home of Derby winner Mill Reef. One of the greatest thoroughbreds to race in the last 30 years, he completely eclipsed his contemporary rivals. The progeny of this stud are the foundations of the breed tomorrow.
What I really wanted wasn't just a portrait of a horse. I wanted to get all the essence of the thoroughbred, you know, by making comparisons with all the thoroughbreds I could find. A complete drawing from start to finish is about 10 days. 10 days to 2 weeks. Well, this is what I do, so I could settle down for the day and decide I'd do the head and just halfway down the neck. And that would be a day's work. Just finishing that up to its final stage. Because the whole drawing is there, I don't need to keep referring to the horse anymore. I can see it all there as the finished drawing. I could really get down to doing the fine detail bits.
And once you've got all the little details in, which are the tricky bits, and you can fill in the form of the body, get the texture in the tail and the mane. It's all done with brush strokes, as you can see, tiny brush strokes.
I work in a detailed way. That's my technique. That's my method of working. And of course, when this is reduced to the eventual stamp size, which is quarter down, but this is 4 times up on the stamp, a great deal of detail is lost. But if you didn't have the detail there in the first place, you know, you couldn't get the sort of finish.
Class 17, that's the Welsh pony, section B, filly, born in 1977. Being judged at the moment, that's in ring 2, and will...
At Lampeter, in the Cambrian mountains of Wales, the Welsh Pony and Cob Society holds its annual stallion show. The post office goes to great lengths to ensure detailed accuracy in British stamps. For the horse stamps, all the relevant breed societies were consulted. An expert who gave an opinion on an originally proposed Welsh pony design was Dr. Wyn Davis.
Well, when the Welsh Pony Cob Society first saw the painting, they weren't very happy with it, I'm afraid, because when you look at the painting, although it might be a magnificent painting as such, it doesn't strike you as being particularly Welsh. The hind quarters of these Welsh ponies, see, these Welsh ponies need such power behind to drive them over the Welsh hills, and I want to be able to see the power, the legs, the power in the bone and the power in the hind quarters. The head is very important. A typical Welsh head stands out a mile. You see a sort of pinpoint muzzle and great big bulging eyes with tiny ears, you see.
So a new painting was done.
This is a typical Welsh pony. You know, it's a cookie little pony with a very intelligent looking head and jaunty stance, a stallion. They were much happier with this one.
You've got to bear in mind when you're working all the time that it is going to be that much smaller. And there are all sorts of problems, like the printer's problems.
When the design stages have been finalised and given approval by Her Majesty the Queen, separate copper cylinders are made to print each colour that will make up the finished stamp. After the first test prints are done, the cylinders are meticulously checked for faults. The deepest area of the etch on a cylinder is only 1.5 thousandths of an inch. 7 different colours were used to make up the stamp of the Shetland pony. As with everything else, infinite care is taken over the last inspection before the machines will run. It would not be possible to print in such minute detail at such high speeds without the aid of special techniques for rapidly drying the different inks. The miracle of modern printing takes just 55 seconds to transform a piece of white paper into a sheet of printed and perforated stamps. Finally, every sheet is scrupulously checked by eye at lightning speed to ensure only the perfect are issued.
It's very nice, almost unbelievable really, that so many people will see the stamps and people will use them and of course collect them.